Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Galey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite history. And welcome, everyone. I am Galey, and in this QCTV episode, I am so pleased to bring you a double episode of that song. I'm so pleased to bring you Judy, Cali. She is a psychic channel, and she channels higher beings from the illumined realms, also from the inner earth and beyond. And all of these beings of higher illumination are here to assist in our personal evolution, the evolution of our soul. And that begins and requires a great spiritual journey. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I welcome our New Earth community here as well. And I welcome Judy. Hello, Judy. Welcome.
Hi. I think we should start with a giggle just to get all of our vibrations up. So just take a moment and feel all the way to your toes and up your spine and in your bubbling in your head, and just laugh from the deep part of you. What a way to start.
What a way to start. And those are the vibrations that we're going to hold through this show, because you can't help to do that when you're with Judy, Cali. Judy, we love you so much. We love your story. Oh my gosh. Every time we're with you, you bring us to our knees with the information that comes through. It's so pure. It's so loving. It's so nurturing. And so today we're going to hear about Anastasia, the beautiful, fairy-like being, but a real being. We're going to talk about her and the magic of her books as well. And you're going to channel her.
Yes.
So before we get there, I want to invite everyone to join us today as well for our after show. Our after show is a place where you can join us in our Zoom audience and ask Judy some questions. You can share your video on camera, if not, or just share your voice. And that's part of our New Earth community membership, with a lot of great things like plant music, which is a whole new cool thing that I just really love. And that's all available for you. So we invite you to check that out at bit.ly/QCTV membership. bit.ly/QCTV membership. All right, Judy, thank you for being here. This is fall. And the last time we spoke, it was before the summer solstice. So let's catch up with you. Boy, how has your New Earth shift been going?
Marvelously, and expanding, huge expansions. And what's amazing is working with the clients. You know, the last 2 years has been a lot of throat clearing, really deep throat clearing. And I think I've spent a year with a hoarse throat because I'm doing so much clearing, and I allow 3 hours for each client. And like yesterday, I was on the phone for 9 hours, you know, as you're working with all 3 people. And by the end of the day, I was squeaking. So I needed the violet flame and use some colloidal silver and kind of come back into balance. So the exciting thing is I've been noticing that the last 3 months, what I was told by the masters that I do is they told me, you're like the emergency doctor, Judy, and we send those to you that have the highest frequencies of light and they're the most stuck. And we help you go to their deepest core pain and fear and clear it. And just like an onion, they can then unfold from there, but they need help getting the core cleared. So that's why I spend so much time with people, because I don't make time or money more important than them right there with me. And I'm with them until I get complete, until I get clear from their higher self. And then I know they've gotten everything they needed. But what's exciting is the last couple of months, my sessions for certain people have gone from 2.5 to 3 when I first did their session with them, down to an hour, because they've already integrated so hugely and they're clearing their own throats. I just tell them the basic way to do it, and then they're doing it. And I'm not spending that extra hour and a half with them because they've raised their frequency and taken responsibility for their stuff in the most lovely way, and they're clearing themselves. That is so exciting. That it just, the other day I was just in tears with such joy because I can feel that not only the elevation of their frequency and their vibration, but they're actually loving themselves so much more. And it just brings tears to my eyes when I hear them describing how they were before our first session and how they are today. And it is such a heart gift to me. So each one of you that we connect, it was decided before we were ever born that we would heart connect and we would share with each other, and it's mutually beneficial because we're all ascended masters. If you're interested in this program, you're an ascended master. You're not part of the 90%. And the 90% are just souls that are younger souls who've just not done as much living. We've done so much more living, and we're such old souls that's why we're here as the leaders. But we both have an equally important job to do. And each one is equally important. There's no hierarchy. So it's really been exciting. And in my personal experience, oh my gosh, it's like every couple of days, once a week, there's some kind of expansion that I'm adjusting to. And the latest was, I've been working in 2005. I had 2 amazing experiences. And one was I've talked about, which was I started seeing gold animals after I went to Bimini to do the documentary for NBC with David Childers on Atlantis and the Bermuda Triangle. And I started seeing golden animals, and I saw 6 golden dolphins and a golden whale spouting golden water. But that year I also had a 12-inch circle of light that was flaming, floating in my bedroom about 4.5 feet up off the floor. And I knew it was an androgynous being, and it announced, I'm the ambassador that represents all of the new children. Now, why that was exciting to me was because when I was 7 years old, Jesus came and said, Judy, you're going to be working with children all over the world. And I realized when they started talking about the new children, that's what he was referring to. But I've been working now with the ambassador for 14 years. And not once have I ever heard anybody in print or read or heard them talking about an ambassador for the new children. So just a couple months ago, just like about 8 weeks ago, the ambassador came to me and floating in my room and said, Judy, you are me and I am you, and you are the ambassador of the new children. And then that explained why Jesus came when I was 7, to be clear, I would get that. So that just came about. And then I was explaining to a client about 4 or 5 days ago, and I want to explain this because it's a little abstract, as though I don't do abstract quite often, but this is abstract. We're feeling, because we've been multidimensionally expanding for the last 6 to 7 years. Okay, so just as an example, may I share your number? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, Loren, you are living mindfully and consciously 8 additional lives out of all of your lives on top of this one. You're floating 9 lives. That's just like a cat. So what that means is every part of you is expanding into more and more of the truth of who you are, the wisdom of who you are, the knowledge of who you are, the courage of who you are, the amazing creativity. It's just so exciting. So what happens is the last 6 or 7 years, not everything in those other 8 lives are honoring you. And so in that time frame, you've been expanding and expanding and expanding. And what you may have noticed, and I can see 2 more lives in the wings. And that tells me that you're handling these 9 beautifully. And you're ready to step into 2 more in the next 18 months to 2 years. So some of the things you may have noticed is the information that we're ready for, that really would honor us in this life, has been bleeding through the last 6 years. And color is a huge one. You may have noticed that you want to change your hair color. I'm to the point now that I think I want to put a teal strip in my hair.
Yes.
I can feel it. I'm wanting to do this. And so I plan, that's what I will do just for fun, right? So the key is color is speaking to us differently than it did before. You may have noticed because fifth dimensional colors are so much more vibrant because they're alive colors. They're not dead colors, they're alive. And they vibrate at a really high frequency and they heal, right? So what I'm noticing is I'm seeing colors very different from how I used to see colors. And I used to see colors more flat. Now they're dancing. It's like I can feel their energy. And they're not only more vibrant, but there's a whole bunch of more hues and tones in the colors. So the palette of color it's getting amazing. And you may find that you want to bring in a certain different color into your home life and decorate that you've never been interested in before. Or now you want to wear that color. And that's because you've expanded into a life where you were in the fifth dimension and you were connected so vibrantly to all these beautiful colors. We're also having bleed through on suddenly we're interested in countries that we've never been interested in. Like all of a sudden you're interested in Belgium and you're thinking, I've never had an interest in Belgium. But one of these lives, other 8 lives you're floating here, are from Belgium, you personally, okay? And I can see that life where you're a peasant woman and you're showing me your hands, so you work the earth, but you are a medicine woman and you're very happy because the forest is your home and you absolutely love the forest. So that's one of the lives you're living now, a part of this 8. And then all the other lives you're living right now, right? So these were how much your soul has expanded in the last 6 years, is you've gone from mainly focusing on this life, because you couldn't handle more than this life, and you've expanded your mastery. So now you're literally handling 9 lives, and you've got 2 more in the wings ready to come in. So you may have noticed that all of a sudden you want to take classes that you've never had an interest in, right? All of a sudden I want to take watercolor, or I want to take belly dancing, or suddenly I want to learn how to make silk. You're thinking, I don't want to make silk, but now well, that's some of these lives you're living. So we're having these wonderful interests that are expanding with us because we're so much more expanded. And the way they showed it to me, which just thrilled me no end, is I was standing there, and that's what I was explaining to this client, and she got it because she saw it. We're like a bubble, like when you're a little kid and you take a bubble bath, and you've got these beautiful bubbles with all these rainbow colors. And then you've got all these other bubbles connected to you until they all pop, right? And that's like what we are. It's like we've been in a bubble. Here's Loren, this life. Here's Loren,
realities, the realities we walk around creating.
They look like rainbow bubbles, okay? And they're all converging into one big bubble, which is the expansion that you've gone through. And where that fits in is what you and I were talking about earlier, is my guides kept showing me like a tightrope walker. And they were showing me that the pole that we're walking with is not wide enough. We've expanded so far beyond anything we ever could have imagined. So they were showing me that we're stumbling over our feet and we're needing to mindfully and consciously live where we're breathing, because we're starting to trip over our feet I've had clients fall and hurt themselves. And it's because we need to ground more. And where our auras used to be 6 or 7, 8 feet from our body, they're expanding into 25, 50, 100 feet beyond our body. And our bodies haven't fully acclimated. So we're feeling lightheaded.
Mm-hmm.
And the lightheaded also has to do with expanding into additional lives. And we're also sometimes needing to hold on to a wall. And sometimes we're getting very, very dizzy and we need to sit down and just come back into center. But grounding is more important now than it ever was before. So I've been this bubble that I was sharing with this one of the clients, and she was sitting there and she said, I'm seeing what you're talking about. They're showing me. She said, Judy, they're rainbow bubbles, aren't they? I said, yes. And she saw them. It was just wonderful. So that's one of the things we're doing, right? Scratching, where I itched under my arm for a year and a half and I had little scabs. Now it's my back. Okay. So the itching is moving. And we're having our throats are being really, the last 2 years are really being cleared big time. And it's because we're going to be multidimensionally expanding and communicating more telepathically than we ever have. And we're going to be doing less physical talking. So for some of you, you may have noticed that you're slurring your words, that words are leaving. And I've had words come back backwards, and I'm having to look at the word, then figure out what it meant. Like it'll be a whole sentence and it'll all come back to me backwards while I'm talking. And then I have to refigure out to use a different word. So it keeps me very in the moment, which is the point. So you may have noticed how your self-guidance is guiding you more and more to live here, not out here, to live here. And that's where you expand into all and everything. And when Jesus said the kingdom is within, that's what he was talking about. So that's what we're really expanding into. And you're the first person they've showed me that you're expanded into 9 lives. I've seen up to 7 up until now. So Miss
Well.
little person here, you've really, really raised your frequency, and how beautiful is that? And as I told you before, you look younger to me than you did before. So you're doing something very right. And what we're doing with that is, as we've stepped more and more into our master self, this last 2 years, so actually last year and a half, we cleared our deepest core pain and fear the last year and a half. And they've been right in our face. We have not been able to distract ourselves from it. Because we're shifting from 96 to 97% pain, suffering, and fear to living 51% love-based living. And we need to be in our heart more than half of our day. And so as we live more in our heart for more than half the day, that's where, like Abraham with Esther Hicks, comes through as a group and says, all that matters is that you feel good and that you're in the vortex. Well, the vortex is you as a golden spiral of light, which you are in about the 10th or 11th dimension. And, you know, none of us have ever been born or ever died. We're energy. We just keep changing forms. So in the 10th and 11th dimension, where we are these beautiful golden spirals, we're also portals and gateways. So I've been seeing me as more portals and gateways, which has been very interesting.
Yes.
So, yes.
So share with us what that's like to see yourself as portals and gateways. When we're in the heart, in this heart space,
Yes.
I've seen it myself. It is a portal. And
Yes.
actually every soul that we've ever passed in the cosmos has an altar in our heart. That's trippy. That's really trippy. When I saw that in my own heart, it was really amazing. So what are some of your experiences then?
Well, last November, I had a mind-blowing experience because I was sitting in my bed and all of a sudden I looked to my left and there was a rectangle, a tall like a doorway, and it looked like opalescent energy. And I could see stars. There was nothing but stars. It was like I was looking at the sky, endless stars. And then all of a sudden, I realized it was me as my portal or gateway self. And the next thing I knew, I tuned into my heart, and I was the great golden central sun. And that is the heart of creator, the heart of creation. That's home. And even today, when I look in my heart, I'm the great golden central sun. And that was that reawakening for me of being the stars and all and everything, so that I would expand enough to be able to do that. And what I did at the same time was I saw myself in this huge cloak that looked like it was grungy, frayed, really, really old. And it was sage green and soft baby blue, and it had gold in it, and it was full of mud and stuff. And I looked like I had on a poncho, and I was guided to unzip it. And when I unzipped it, was all the old Judy fell off. And I was standing there as the great golden central sun. And the next thing I knew, I was totally detached from all experiences of me, all labeling, all names. I had no interest in any of it. I'm not attached to Judy as a child. I'm not attached to me as an adult. I'm not attached to being Anna, Mother Mary's mother, who I stepped into in my ascended master self 18 months ago. I'm not attached. And I'm not even attached to being the ambassador of the new children. It's like you're stepping out of your human self, you're stepping into your master self, and you're being at peace in your heart. And no matter what goes on out here, you're at peace in your heart. That's mastery. It doesn't matter what the story is out here, because we've all made it up. It's not the truth. It's just a story we've all made up. And when you look at all the beings in the world and you see them all as golden beings of light, because that's who they really are, but they're just playing a role. When you stop looking at them as the role they're playing, and you open your heart and you see the full expanse of who they are as a golden being of light, you stop all judgment and criticism, because you recognize that the journey of the soul is we're pure liquid light, all and everything, floating and glowing. And then we've chosen to tactily experience life. And so we create a soul, and we create an I am presence, and we choose how many lives we want to live and what experiences we want to have. And then we expanded and chose Earth, third dimension, because it was the largest dimension of contrast. And you could be up, down, back, forth. You can be man, female, good, bad. Everything in polarity to the most extreme was what the gift of third dimension presented to us. And we all choose our first lives as murderers and rapists and pirates and thieves. We go to the full extreme of the opposite of being pure, complete love. And so when we do that, then we experience and mindfully start choosing to care. And once we start caring, then we work from third to fourth dimension, which we did 10 years sooner than most people think. We actually shifted from third to fourth on December 21st, 2002. That's how good we are. That's how amazing we have been. We've done something that's never been done before, and we're still doing it now. And I think each of you need to put your arms around you and give yourself the biggest hug. We need 8 hugs a day to maintain our mental health. And so if you don't have a baby that you hug all the time, or you don't have a sweet little pet that you hug all the time, or you don't have a sweetie that you hug all the time, you be your own sweetie. You be the one that you love. We're here to be the love of our own life. We're here to be our own best friend. It's not about another person. So just give yourself the biggest hug, because you said yes, and you're still saying yes, and you're here. And just you breathing, because you carry a much higher frequency of light as an ascended master. Just you breathing touches every heart in the world. So as long, I teasingly say to my clients, if you're still breathing, you're needed.
Thank you, Ascended Masters. Yes. Yes. Ascending and ascended masters. Yes, thank you. I do agree with you that everyone watching this show is a new earth leader.
Yes,
Absolutely. And
yes, we are.
we welcome everyone. Thank you. All right. Well, Judy, thank you for that update. It's so amazing that the expansion, I know we've all been feeling it in many ways, right? We've talked about the dizziness. And so we'll get used to it. As we know, if we, instead of going into like a fear over it, when we know, when we can lean into it, when we can ground, sometimes it almost feels like the dizziness almost feels like the soul is embodying.
Yes, yes. And there again, it's because we're expanding so much more
Mm,
than we ever thought we would. And we're doing it in a much broader sense than we've ever done this before. And what we're doing has never been done before. So, it's like Jesus said to me in 2007, you're the brave ones. We're the ascended masters on this side of the veil, and we can see the bigger picture to help you. He
yeah.
said, but Judy, those of you that are the 10%, he said, you're so brave because it took so much courage to come here. Because you went from being in bliss, floating and glowing as a golden spiral of light, back down the dimensions until we got into third, and we were tortured and abused extensively for our power. And then we went through the veil of forgetting, and we didn't remember being tortured and abused. But what our souls and our hearts remembered is we didn't feel safe out there in the middle, in the front, getting the attention. We wanted to stay in the background and hide. And that comes from being tortured.
Mm,
And so he said, when we entered our mother's womb, he said, the more evolved you are as a soul, the more pain you feel because you're more sensitive. And because you're more sensitive, you feel everything. So we felt all of the pain of our mother and all the pain of our father and all the pain of their relationship and all the pain of our ancestors and all the pain of the family we're stepping into. And he said, you even felt the pain of the town you were living in. And he said, most of you chose to leave the planet. This was way more painful than you thought you signed up for. To go from bliss to 96 to 97% pain, suffering, and fear is a huge extreme. So when most of us came back having near-death experiences, most of us have had some form of near-death experience as a child, or we wouldn't stay here. And then we had to step into some form of distraction so that we could be here in the pain and handle it. So a lot of us went into addictions. Some of us went into other worlds like autism. Some of us were obsessive, where we're bicycling 4 hours a day, or we're reading. I was reading 6 hours a day. We just were doing things nonstop just to keep the distractions so we didn't feel the pain.
mm.
And then we kind of stepped out of the feeling so we could cope and then do what we came here to do. So I want each of you to know how deeply you are loved and cherished, and how tremendously grateful the other ascended masters on the other side are for all the way that we've been in the muck. We agreed to do a human life 100%, and boy, did we do it. And now the beautiful thing is we've left the most painful junk behind. And now we're in the last vestiges in the pit where our deepest core pains and fears are. And that's what we're clearing this last year and a half. And so it's like anything that's out of balance, any part of you you're not loving, any part of you that doesn't feel good, that's what that is. That's what you're clearing. And that means you're now stepping into your mastery more and more and more. And isn't that beautiful? And when I see you, when I'm doing a session, I get a hologram of you. And I have all 4 psychic gifts activated. And I see your illumined self. And it's very common for me to have tears in my eyes when I see how stunningly beautiful. And I was mentioning that to you earlier. I see you. I see your whole sense of self. And it's like half the sky is illumined with your light. It's absolutely beautiful. That's what I see when I'm doing a session. So I know you. I know who you are. I know what it is that's important to share with you. And that's what I was doing before we did the thing. I connected to the Sacred Heart of everybody on the call for the replay or anybody that's touched by this particular talk. And I connected to the I Am Presence of them all, so that all of us are working together to create this broadcast. It's not just you and I, it's everybody on this call. And when I write the prayers, they're custom done for that group. And all of your higher selves and I Am Presences are there helping me create them. So isn't that wonderful? Ooh, oh, that's worth another hug. Oh,
Judy, thank you so much. It's just so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to go into the Anastasia talk, but I wanted to recap one of the most important things that you said there so that everyone can tune in and feel it. How much of our day are we living in the heart?
yes.
How much of the day? Is it more than 51%? I actually think that the people watching this show, we're there. We're definitely there. Are we perfect? Are we at 100%? No. I know one of the things, judgment is the first thing. Anytime we judge, we close our hearts down, and mostly it's judgment on ourselves.
Yes, it is.
I've noticed. So, and I want to make a mention that one of the things that I've worked through when we are able to work through these lower programs of like that core wound, whatever that core wound is, it's so amazing to see the expansion on the other side. So while we may, it may be hard to put into example, there's new ideas that come in. There's new creative things. The dreams that we dream are actually bigger than we would ever have thought before. It's like, instead of just doing one little thing, how can we really make it big based on the mission of what it is that we're doing? And when we really put that mission first based on our passion, it's amazing how we open up to synchronicities that bring us the people. So perfect.
And we step into our authentic self as we did as children and living from the truth of who we are. That's what we're doing now. And that is huge. Because see, when you're in your sacred heart,
Yes.
and when you are home, you are in your divine flow and everything is provided automatically.
Yes.
So we're not here to live 100% sitting in a cave oming all day. We're not here for that. We're here to be at 51% or a little higher, but we're here to have adventures. We're here to have experiences. We're here to have so many things, but just keep in mind, and I want you all to open your ears really huge and hear what I'm saying. You've never made a mistake, not one. And you've also never been a victim. Everything was agreed upon with everybody involved, 50 of them you handpicked to be a part of your life in this life from your 500 member soul family. And every single one of you agreed to play all these different parts. So understand that you've never made a mistake. So stop all the judging and the criticizing and the nitpicking. Just let it all go. We've been taught that it's not serving us. We now understand how painful it is to judge and criticize somebody because we've all been judged and criticized. But when somebody's doing that with you, they are seeing you through the filters of their own fears of themselves. They're not seeing you clearly. So when they can't see you clearly, then you get those judgments and criticisms from other people, and they're really just dumping their own fear of themselves on you. Don't be foolish enough to believe it. Recognize it's their stuff. It's nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody walks up to you and says, I see you as an absolutely beautiful goddess, yes.
Yes.
I had somebody actually do that with me one day, so it was quite wonderful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, self-love is really the key. And so we hope that everyone is really identifying when you stop or when you cut off the self-love. It's really interesting when we ponder that. Okay. Well, let's go on with our show here. We've got Anastasia and the Ringing Cedars of Russia. This is such a beautiful story. So, Judy, share with us why Anastasia. What's the message coming through? And then you're going to channel.
Yes, I am. And we're going to extend. Anastasia is going to do a blessing on everybody that is on the call, and they will also receive it on the replays. She's standing here now. She's got the bear, she's got the she-wolf, and I see a bunch of little critters all around her. I see her son, he's very, very tall. And she's got this rainbow aura that's absolutely beautiful. And interestingly enough, let me keep this is very interesting. I did a session 3 days ago, and I've only had Anastasia herself physically come in once. But I've called her in on 2 different clients, and she came in and helped them. So 3 days ago, I was working with a lady, and all of a sudden, which I have not had before, all of a sudden I saw Anastasia standing right in front of me and talking about her and giving me a message for her. So I did what I was guided to do. And all of a sudden I hear her crying. And she said, "My God, you couldn't be more right on." She said, "I just received all my packages of the cedar nuts that I take and everything from Anastasia's company." And she said, "I just got the big box today, right before our call." And she said, "And I just started reading the books for the first time a couple days ago." And she said, "How did you know that?" And I had never brought Anastasia into a session like that before. But see, she's there, and she was letting me know I'm prepared for the talk we're going to give. And then I felt her again this morning, and she was saying to me, "I'm here, I'm ready, we're going to talk." So I'm saying to you, this is really instigated by her and us sharing this information today. So Anastasia is the story is that a gentleman named Vladimir was a merchant, and he was going up and down the waters in Russia and in Siberia, and 2 elderly men approached him, and they were Anastasia's grandfathers, and they kept telling him they needed help. They needed 50 to 60 men from his crew on his boat to come and help them to cut down a cedar tree because it had been ringing. And they didn't explain anything more than that. And this gentleman said, "I have no interest in this. I have a business to run." Now, the cedar tree will only ring for 3 years. And if you're wearing a piece of that cedar tree that has rung and you wear it in a pendant around your body, it will heal all diseases. So it was so, the 2 grandfathers were so shattered because they couldn't figure out the significance of this and how anybody could walk away. But they did. And then they came back, and Anastasia was dressed as a peasant woman, and he was asking questions about trying to find those men and the ringing cedar tree. And that's how he met Anastasia. And he ended up, she took him into the forest. She lives by herself in the forest. She has no home. Her home is the glade. And when she had her child, which is a little boy, the bear and the she-wolf were the babysitters. And they kept him warm at night. They did all the things that they needed to do. And as an example, when the baby would do the things babies do, and they're what we would use as diapers, the bear would clean the baby up. And then she put him in the river and let him bathe, right? So these animals were actually her friends, and they were her family. And she lived totally on nature for all those years. And so did all of her generations. So when you tap into Anastasia's energy, it is so incredibly beautiful. And it is so illumined that you can't help but just, your whole heart opens in a way it's never opened before. And she sees a blue sphere that she communicates with all the time. And she emits this amazing ray of light with everything that she's doing. So we're going to tap into that today so that we activate our own ray and we activate our own blue sphere. But Anastasia's story, the fascinating thing about this is it's never been advertised, these books, not once. And yet they've sold over 15 million copies. And now there are communities all over the world that are based on the principles Anastasia was teaching. There's schools all over the world. They're now called forest schools that have been brought in. The Russian government has recognized for several years now that her principle of each person needs their own plot of land. She calls it a hectare. And when you look at a hectare, it's 2.5 acres. I looked it up. So if each person gets their plot of land, and this is as a gift, then everything in their family is done on that piece of property. And now they're starting to grant married couples the last several years automatically a hectare of land based on what she's presented. Wow. So now she's affecting the whole government in the world. So for us who first read about her in 2005 when the first book came out, my excitement about her, and she instilled and touched parts of me that were feeling crushed with everything going on. And it inspired me to such a level that I recognized that everything is going to be fine. And that if we continue moving into our heart space, then we will literally shift everything. And my guides told me many years ago that one light creator fully connected in their heart to their own divinity is more powerful than 150,000 people who are not. So it's not the numbers we need. It's the consciousness that's more than 51% to step in align with our fifth dimensional self. And we're doing that through play. And that's what Mother Mary told me in 2007. She said, you guys are way, 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 way too serious. And you need to start playing and having fun, because you can't step into your light body and be androgynous if you're heavy-hearted or heavy-minded. You need to start playing. And most of you have been so serious that you've forgotten how to play and have fun. And what you mentioned earlier, Jesus told me, he said, this is how they will step into their passion, is reminding themselves of being a child in the unlimited world of a child that just is into the mystical and the magical, and they never doubt it. If they're riding a broom around the yard and they tell you they're riding the rainbow unicorn, they're riding the rainbow unicorn. They see it, it's very clear. And we need to step back into that, where we do tune in to the mystical and the magical and the wonder and the amazement of life. And we've kind of lost that because we've been so focused on responsibility, 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 responsibility. And basically what came to my mind as Archangel Michael was telling me in 2007, for those of you that are the 10%, you are not here to heal, fix, mend, or band-aid one more soul. You're done. Now let the younger generation take over. It's not your job anymore. Your job is to play and have fun and change the second half of your life totally different than the first. So one of the things I've been noticing in my own body, which I'm sure many of you have noticed, is I went through the aging process and I started aging really fast. Like in 10 years, I just looked like I had really aged a lot. And then the youthing from stepping into the mastery and being immortal has now been activated. So we're regenerating and rejuvenating inside. And those of us that are in the first wave, which is the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, Those that are in the 60s and 70s are in the second wave of indigos that have come onto the planet to pave the way for the new children. And so our bodies are the weariest because we've been doing it for such a much longer time. So we need to really rest and rejuvenate and allow ourselves to play and have fun. And then we will rejuvenate even more. And in the last 2 years, I've noticeably had several people that have seen me for years, like at the dog park. I live at the dog park. Or they come and they see me in other circumstances. They go out of their way to walk up and say to me, Judy, you look better than I've seen you in years. What are you doing? And the last lady said it to me about a month ago, and I hadn't seen her in about a year and a half. And she said, it flabbergasted me that she said, you look wonderful. I mean, absolutely wonderful. She said, I don't know what you're doing, but it's working. So my point to all of you are, we're starting to step into our immortality, and we release the death code. And the death code was implanted in us at birth, so we would disintegrate and die as a human. And now as we're stepping more into our mastery this last year and a half to 2 years in 2019 and 2018, we're starting to youth. So take heart. It's happening. It's happening. And Anastasia is part of that. She is just an amazing woman who is changing the world. She is not doing anything flashy. She is not doing anything to be known. She was very clear with Vladimir that she knew exactly everything the world needed. And he didn't believe her. And it took years until he really got it and understood what she was about. And now that's been his life. And she told him, you're going to be writing books and we're going to touch every heart in the world and beyond. And they are. So the story of Anastasia is this beautiful woman who's living as a free sovereign being, which is what we're stepping into and aligning in fifth dimension. And she's been there from the beginning.
Connected deeply with nature, deep connection.
Well, Vladimir brought a toy for the little boy that, you know, trucks and all this stuff made out of plastic and metal. And the little boy didn't want to touch any of it. And so he was hurt. He says, you know, I'm the child's dad and I don't understand why he won't accept my gift. And Anastasia opened her arms and she said, he has all of nature to play in natural things. Why would he want artificial stuff around him? He climbs trees. He swims in the river. He's loved by the animals. He's in his heart all the time, Vladimir. He doesn't find these fun. Nature covers and takes care of everything this child needs and everything that we need if we just remember that. So all of our advancement that we look at it that way, one of the things that is very clear is Anastasia has opened people's hearts to start coming back to nature and stop putting your energy into these artificial things and start coming back to the truth. Is nature has every single answer you need. It really does. So you have
for anybody who has those Anastasia books.
Yes.
I have them. I'm going to be pulling them out and diving into them again. There's a reason that we have them in our field. And if we've never completed them, maybe this is the time. So thank you.
I'm also going to make a simple suggestion. Here's the book. This is book 1. That's
like the original cover.
I got it in 2005. Right? So if you take and put your left hand, because your left side of your body is your feminine side, and that's your side of receiving. The right side of your body is your masculine side, and that's your side of sending. So if you take your hand and you put it on the book and you tell your higher self, I choose to take from this book and remember all that would honor me to remember. and you will feel your hand being activated, however you receive energy. So it might be a warmth, it might be a tingling, it might be feeling it going through your body, it might be a numbness, whatever it is. But you can put your hand on the top of the book and say, I choose to take in all that honors me from this book and speaks to my heart. You can do that with any book. You can do it with a crystal. You can do it with anything that is an object. And you can take that energy in, and then you've got it. And then you can enjoy reading the book, but you've already started aligning with Anastasia, and you started aligning with the truth that she's presenting just by connecting. Isn't that fabulous? I think that's just fabulous.
Yay! On the screen is the image of the book, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. Judy, you and I have done a lot of online healing retreats together, and one of the ones that we did was a 3-day session that it continued to expand us in this energy bubble over those 3 days.
Yeah.
And I had a very profound dream. And in the dream, I woke up, it was as if I was being trained. What's the single most important message for humanity? The single most important message for humanity. And it really was this orb right here.
Yes.
Are orbs of light like this, and we are here to radiate that light through our hearts to the world. And as we do that, our world literally lifts up, and we are removed from that cycle of reincarnation. That's what you're talking about with the immortality.
Exactly. So
I just think that's cool.
Can we just take a minute here, and we want to activate all this?
Yes.
And she's here to give a blessing. So last night, no, I beg your pardon, yesterday morning, when she came to me, she started giving me the prayer. And it was her running through a forest, and suddenly I was in the forest. And we went into this area of the forest that was not known. And when I stepped into it, the bear stood on its full legs and took me into this huge fountain of love. And as I stepped in, I was shown my whale self breaching out of the water, and everything that was not me was leaving. And as I breached up fully into the top of the water, just this gorgeous whale was there. And I was literally in that moment totally transformed. And I was so touched by the feeling of the whale in my heart. And I knew that Anastasia had guided the entire experience. So I'm very excited to finish the prayer, which then I will share with all those that are getting a session. And we will also be doing an activation to activate a ringing cedar pendant around your neck to connect you to the energy of the ringing cedar. And we will be doing that in the prayer. And so I'm quite excited about that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now let's go ahead and take you in. Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay, Anastasia, we're here. All right. In this moment, Anastasia is spinning, and she's spinning quite beautifully, almost like a ballerina on one toe. And I'm seeing her spinning, 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 and I'm seeing her energy field expand, expand, expand until it's covering the whole earth, and it's going beyond the earth. So she's saying, join her. So give permission for yourself, you as a soul, to share all of who you are with all and everything, because that's where she's taking us. So feel you twirling, twirling, twirling in the middle of you. And in the middle of you is Anastasia. And then there's you, and you're merging. And now those spirals of you merged with her are covering the whole planet and covering all of the universe. And just take a moment and feel this twirling and this spiraling, because it's happening in such a beautiful way. And as I'm seeing each of you are spiraling, I'm seeing you spiral into the light of a star, and you're lighting up the whole sky. And each of you are twirling into a star, and you're twirling into a star. And then each of those stars are twirling and unifying into one star, because Earth is becoming a star. And you just participated in making it and allowing it and gifting it to happen. So in this moment, Anastasia is going with her hands on her heart, extending them out, and I see kisses, heart kisses, going to each single being that is hearing this call, and we want to extend it to the I am presence of all souls in every form of life, through infinity, of infinity, and in infinity, in this moment now. And may each of you receive the blessing that she's doing now. She is standing with one hand on the top of your head and one hand on your heart. And I'm seeing electrical currents of love going in through the crown of your head. And I'm seeing every part of our bodies are coming home to our center. She's going like this, literally taking all the parts of us that has been literally lost or has been fragmented, and she's calling them all home. And as she's calling them all home, she's going inside the earth, she's going around the earth, and she's taking each soul and she's bringing every single part of them back into that center spiral. And so in this moment, you may feel your head tingling or warm, as she's right now with her hand on your crown. And she's got her other hand on your heart center, because you have three hearts. You have your human heart when you're in human form. You have your chakra heart when you're in some type of form, but you're living lives as wind and a thought where you're not a form at all. And that's your sacred heart. So she's activating and twirling with your sacred heart and your I am presence, so that the most truest part of you, that's pure divinity, is now expanding into your awareness of all and everything of you. And so I'm seeing there's beautiful sparkles of light that are coming off of each of us as she's got her hands on her crown and have her hands on her heart center. Now she's moving her hands and she's placing one hand at the base of your spine and one hand at the back of your heart center. And I can see that the Kundalini is being activated. So you might start feeling warmer. And I can see that the Kundalini is rising in each of you to where you're ready for this moment. And I can see that the hand in the back of the heart is opening the heart chambers. And I can see a flood of, it looks like flood water, dirty and mucky, is all coming out. And that's all the unnecessary, the limiting, the parts of us that have been 3D human is now clearing out of our entire being. And it's now coming to the end. The flood has stopped. And now she's lovingly taking a spiral with her hand and closing the circle in the back. And she's got now both hands at the base of your spine, supporting you in life. And she said one of her gifts to you today is she will be placing her hands at the base of your spine to support you whenever you ask her to. And don't worry about time. If you want her to do that for you every day for the next week, she will. And she said any time that you put your hand on your heart and you say Anastasia, the part of you that's her will come in and will start twirling to bring you more into the deeper part of who you are. So she's saying, celebrate you, my dear friends, and my brothers and sisters of the heart. We are all in the nucleus of life, and we all carry everything that life is a part of and everything that life consists of. And in this moment, every particle of you is pure illumined light. That's who you really are. You are creator. You are source. You are all of life in the flash of beauty in this moment. And so now she's got her hands and she's putting them on your sides and she's opening your wings and she's letting them unfurl as far as they can. And I'm seeing that you're starting to expand in height. You're getting taller because as older beings, especially in the fifth dimension, we are taller. Some of the beings are 15 feet tall. Some are 8 feet tall, but they're taller than we are. I'm seeing her expanding us widthwise and height-wise. And now I see in front and back, she's cleansed this flow. You're in the divine flow. And I'm seeing it as a golden, trickling, beautiful stream. And literally that stream of flow is in the middle of your body. And every part of you is coming home to that flow. And she's saying, be at peace, my loves. Be at peace. Because when you're at peace, then every single part of you can create world peace. It begins and ends with you. And if you make a commitment to recognize that all beings are golden beings of light, and that is their most illumined self, in every way, shape, and form. See every spider, every person, every tree, every plant. See the whole earth as gold. And when I see this, it looks like a snow globe with gold glitter. And the earth, I'm clearing for everybody, the earth is just illumined. Every part is sparkling in gold light. And in this moment, you did that in the heart, with the heart of Gaia, who we're embracing now. So Anastasia's saying, embrace your heart with your love, and you are now embracing Gaia. And celebrate your merging. May all flow in ease and grace and joy and love. And may each of you experience the most benevolent outcome, or something even better. And so it is. Beloved, we are. We're done.
Thank you so much for that. That was really beautiful. And we are feeling really lit up after that. This love, this incredible love. I think we're all twirling still.
Yes, we are.
You. And
Yes.
our wings are fully expanded.
Yes.
And we are seeing the world as a golden spiral with everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And bless Anastasia and her whole family and all the beings that are helping to make this time with each other possible. We thank them all.
We thank them all. And so go have fun in nature, everyone. I know if we were to look back even in like today, I was able to get out on my little nature walk and 2 praying mantises, two. That's
Wow.
really rare. And so we have to feel into that, right? And feel into the message.
What they're doing is they're showing you that you're now ready to take into your heart your praying mantis wisdom. That's fifth dimension. When we're working with, like Anastasia, I'm calling in the part of me that's Anastasia. She's not a separate being.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are all into everything. And when you see something that's exceptional, that's pointing itself out to you, you align with that energy and you say, maybe it's a tree or an ocean, and you say, I choose to awaken my own ocean wisdom in the way that honors me now, so I can touch all the hearts I'm here to touch and be touched by all the hearts. And or I activate my praying mantis wisdom. We take and know that we are it and it is us. There's no separation. And in fifth, you have no guides or angels. Your guides and angels have been stepping back the last 5 or 6 years. So you would step into your role as master and know that they are you and you are them. There's nothing we're not. Oh, what a thrilling idea.
Judy's giggle that tickles the heart. Tickles the heart. Wow. It's so amazing, so beautiful. Well, it's really wonderful and so inspiring to hear that these shifts that are going on, these ascension symptoms, that it's all part of it, and it's all a return to love. And all of our journey, the journey that we each chose as souls here, is all a return to love. No matter how hard we chose to come in this lifetime, and no matter what lifetimes we chose to learn those deepest lessons of polarity. This has been an exquisite show today, Judy. We are going to stick around for the after party. Again, I invite our guests to kind of hang out with us in our Zoom audience. It's really fun. You can ask Judy your question. She will have a message for you with your guides, whatever is appropriate. And on the screen right now is a link to Judy's special offer. This special offer for Judy is available on every webpage that you're watching this show on, and in the description box of any place that you're listening to this podcast. So check it out. It's got a lot of those online healing retreats that we did. Oh my gosh, every event that we've done with Judy has literally cracked our hearts wide open. It is the golden age teachings that she offers, and I invite you to check that out. We're offering those recordings exclusive in our package, and Judy also has 2 session sizes. One is a 30-minute session and one is a 60-minute session. Both of those come with the beautiful program that we're offering. We're also including Judy's upcoming Mastery Empowerment course on October 19th. It's a day after her birthday, so it really is her birthday celebration event. And we're going to learn about clearing the stories, right? Tell us about that, Judy.
One of the things my guides have been clear with me about is that we are at a point now where third dimension and fourth, the gap is closing. And we need to stop the story that we came in with because it has no relevance anymore. None. You are living in the present moment where you're breathing. And when you're doing that, there's no past and there's no future. You've gotten every single thing out of everything in third dimension that you needed on December 21st, 2002. You don't need it anymore. We've been in fourth now for 17 years. So it's time that we stop the story. And what I mean by that is you are pure divinity. That's what you are. You're not a healer. You're not Jewish. You're not Christian. You're not tall. You're not fat. You're not all the things that we label ourselves. And we limit ourselves and box ourselves in and allow ourselves to have this idea of who we are. But who you are is all and everything. So we need to stop repeating the story. We need to stop identifying by the story and the drama of our story. You've already lived it. You've digested it. You've gotten everything out of it. And it needs to stop so you can expand beyond and create a whole new second half of your life, and you create a new experience for you that feels good in your heart. We're not here to shift from third to fourth anymore. We already did it. We're done. So now we need to live the example of living fifth dimension so others will follow us. That's what we're here to do. And that means we live where we're breathing, that we are literally aligned at least 51% of our day and feeling good. And every moment you have a choice. That's you as a being. You have the right of free will. So everything that approaches you, you've created to benefit you. There's no other in your story. There's just you in all these different forms. And every single part of you is either choosing to expand into the truth of who you are through love, or you're making a choice to step out of your center and your flow, and by fear, shrink yourself to be less effective than who you really are. That's your simple choice every single breath. So allow that to be where your heart goes and your life goes, and stop putting yourself in the boxes of all the ways you've identified yourself in the past. They don't exist anymore. They don't. So we're going to talk about all the ways in which we can go beyond our story and live the truth for us and recognize what the story is doing to us and why it isn't working anymore. So I hope that helps.
Yes. Yes, thank you for that. Again, that is the Mastery Empowerment course with Judy. That's a live webinar. We'll be on Zoom, and you are welcome to join us. That is available on its own, or it's available within Judy's special offer, and also part of her personal sessions that you can check that out. Again, Judy's special offer is there at acoustichealth.com/special offers/Judy. Well, thank you, Judy. We are also going to be in our New Earth community in a Zoom room after party with you. And I just want to mention, come join us if you'd like to ask Judy a question. She's really fun, and we're just going to be hanging out for a few minutes before we say goodbye. This is really a safe place for those who resonate with our New Earth community to get to know each other and to share our new earth shifts with one another. So thank you. Again, you can register at bit.ly/QCTV membership. That is really an affordable membership, and we throw in a lot of fun bonuses for that too. So thank you, Judy. This has been magical as always. You have lifted our hearts even more. We are like balloons inflated with self-love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we say goodbye to this QCTV episode, any last comment that you're
Yes,
feeling?
let's do our happy dance. Yay! Start doing your happy dance and dance your way through life with love and joy. I love each and every one of you, and thank you for being who you are and everything you've contributed to life. It is deeply appreciated.
Thank you, Judy, Cali. We reflect back the love that you gave us to you, and we thank Anastasia as well. Thank you for this quantum conversation.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
Namaste. Woo-hoo. All right, everyone, please join us over on our Zoom room where we will be in our after party with Judy. We're going to be there. You'll get a link as soon as you register to join us in our Zoom room. Now, we are going to dance our way to the universe, to the cosmic heart of the universe, with a very special song. This is plant music, and this was literally created by plants and aromatherapy oil that was created from a charged crystal from a dolphin swim on the Big Island. So this is the music of the plants, but see if you can feel the energy of the dolphins. Enjoy, and we'll see you on the after party. Not yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Galey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.